All right, let's talk rates and unit rates. This is going to be for Unit 5.2, so Unit 5, Section 2. So our learning intentions for rates and unit rates is to understand rates involving fractions and use unit rates to solve problems. You will know that you're successful when you can find unit rates for rates involving fractions and you can use unit rates to solve rate problems. So our first section here is just going to be on key terms. And of course, our first term naturally would need to be rate. So a rate is a special type of ratio that compares two quantities of different units. What does that mean? Here's an example of that. An example is speed. Speed is an example of rate because it actually measures two quantities of different units. When I'm talking about speed, I'm saying the distance over time. Okay, so speed is an example of rate because it measures two quantities of different units, distance over time. The next section that we're looking at is unit rate. Let me move this up. And unit rate is the ratio between two different units of measurement for a single unit in the denominator. So that means if I was doing a unit rate of something, say I said, um, maybe I was going to tell you for 48 pounds for there's 48 pounds for 3 pieces of luggage. And then I want to find the unit rate. You'd have to tell me how many pounds for one piece of luggage. A single unit means that you're figuring out how much would it be for only one number in the denominator. So that'd be our second number. So equivalent ratios, this is a word that we hear a lot, right? Equivalent means equal. So equivalent ratios are rates that have, or sorry, equivalent rates, not ratios. Equivalent rates are rates that have the same unit rate. So if I check the unit rate, which is the unit of measurement for a single unit in the denominator, if they are the same, then they're equivalent because they're equal, right? That's what we've learned equivalent means. So I have an example here. For rate, I'm going to say a car, sorry, let me fix my screen here. A car travels 240 miles in 4 hours. That would be my rate. Okay. A car travels 240 miles in 4 hours because these are two quantities of different units. It's telling me how much it travels in how many hours. Now, the unit rate has to be a single unit in the denominator. So if I'm looking for a unit rate for the car traveling, I would have to figure out from if it travels 240 miles in 4 hours, how many miles does it travel in 1 hour? Because it has to be a single unit. So a car travels. So what would this be? If there is 4 hours, I would take 240, I would divide it by 4. So 240 divided by 4 is 60. So a car travels 60 miles per hour. And that would be my unit rate. Okay. So the guided practice here at the bottom says an airplane flies 856 miles in 2 hours. So my first question is how many miles did the airplane fly in 1 hour? So if for every 2 hours it travels 100 or 856, I'm going to have to take 856, whoops, 856 and divide that by 2. Okay, remember we talked about this when we were talking about ratios. To find the value of the ratio, I would divide the first number by the second number. That same thing goes for rates. So I'm going to take 856 divided by 2 because that's going to get me to my unit rate. And that would be 428 miles per hour. Now, my second question says, at this rate, how many miles can the airplane fly in 12 hours? Okay, well, if I know that every hour it travels 428 miles, I would take 428 and I'm going to multiply that by 12 because 1 hour gets me 428. 12 hours would get me 428 times 12, which is 5,136 miles in 12 hours. Okay, so let's flip over this page. Here is some more information for you. So this is rates. You're going to answer a couple questions for me. So this first one says Grayson earned $64 in 4 hours. At this rate, how much can he earn in 7 hours? So you're going to have to figure out how am I going to distribute figure out how much, not how many, how much money does he make per hour? And then that's going to help you determine how much he'd make in 7 hours. Dahlia can write 12 emails in 3 hours. At this rate, how many emails can she write in 7 hours? So figure out how many emails is she writing per hour, then figure out how much that would be in 7. Emma can bake 18 cookies in 2 hours. How many cookies can she bake in 5 hours at the same rate? So we're going to take 18, divide it by 2, and then times that answer by 5 to figure out how much she'd bake in 5 hours. Your next section is unit rates. So a pack of 8 markers costs $4.32. What is the cost? Oh, what is cost per marker? That's not very good grammar, is it? So what is the cost per marker? So you're going to have to take 8, divide that by $4.32, and figure out how much each marker is going to cost. A package of 6 muffins costs you $4.50. What is the cost per muffin? So what are you going to have to do? You're going to have to take 6, divide it by $4.50. So we're just taking that first number and we're dividing it by the second number, and that's how we're going to figure out the unit rate, which is one single item at a time. Then we have a 2-pack of toothbrushes costs $6.48. What is the cost per toothbrush? So take 2, divide it by $6.48. That's going to tell you how much each toothbrush is going to cost you. Okay, so try these ones. Make sure you come show it to me when you finish. We'll walk through anything that you don't understand, and then I'll give you your next task. See you later.